Narration today, we delve into the truth behind the recent floods in Egypt and why Ethiopia should not be blamed. For years, Ethiopia has been accused of causing problems in the Nile, but the evidence supported by Egyptian experts themselves tells a different story. Expert analysis. Dr. Nader Nur El-Din Doctor, professor of water resources at Cairo University, has openly declared that the recent floods in Egypt are unprecedented, worse than the 1988 floods. However, he did not blame Ethiopia. Instead, he criticized the mismanagement of the high dam inside Egypt. He explained that the dam gates were opened in amounts larger than what the river could handle. This miscalculation sent massive water surges into Egyptian lands, flooding houses, farms, and villages. He also raised serious questions. Why wasn't the Toshka spillway used earlier? Why was water held back until it was too late? These are decisions made by Egypt's own authorities, not Ethiopia. Maud Hafez's testimony, even Maud Hafez, an Egyptian commentator, confirmed this on Facebook. He wrote, "Opening the irrigation gates at the bottom of the high dam while deliberately closing the Toshka spillway is a clear betrayal by the Sisi regime against the Egyptian people. Do not blame the Renaissance Dam, for it is innocent of this crime. This is not an Ethiopian voice. This is an Egyptian citizen pointing directly at Cairo's own leadership. The reality of Gerd, the grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, is not a weapon. It is a development project for electricity and progress." Dr. Nader himself explained that Gerd regulates water, it does not create floods. The Nile's flow into Egypt is carefully measured, not wild and destructive. So why is Ethiopia being blamed? Because it is easier for politicians to point fingers outside than to admit failures inside. The role of the Toshka spillway, located in Egypt's New Valley Governorate, is designed to divert excess water from Lake Nasser into the Toshka Depression. This infrastructure was intended to manage surplus water and prevent flooding downstream. However, reports indicate that during the recent floods, the spillway was not utilized effectively. Instead, water was released in amounts larger than what the river could handle, leading to the inundation of Egyptian lands. Ethiopia's position and Sudan's perspective. Ethiopia maintains that the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam has mitigated flood risks in neighboring Sudan. Ethiopian officials argue that the dam's design allows for controlled water release, which helps in managing water flow during the rainy season. In contrast, Sudan has experienced severe flooding with elevated water levels along both the Blue and White Nile tributaries. Sudanese authorities attribute these floods to mismanagement of water release from upstream dams, including the Gerd. International reactions and diplomatic tensions. The recent floods have intensified diplomatic tensions in the region. Egypt has accused Ethiopia of violating historical agreements regarding shared Nile water rights. Ethiopian officials, on the other hand, assert that the GERD is a sovereign project aimed at national development and that it does not pose a threat to downstream countries. The lack of a binding agreement on the dam's operation has led to a stalemate in negotiations, with both sides blaming each other for the flooding, environmental and infrastructure challenges beyond the immediate impact of the floods. There are long-term environmental and infrastructure challenges. The Aswan High Dam, while providing flood control and hydroelectric power, has led to sedimentation in Lake Nasser, reducing its storage capacity. This issue complicates water management strategies and affects the dam's ability to handle excess water during peak inflow periods. Conclusion: a call for accountability. The truth is clear. The recent floods were exacerbated by mismanagement of water release from Egypt's own infrastructure, not by Ethiopia's Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. The floods were worse in Egypt than in Sudan. Lands along the riverbanks and islands were knowingly allowed to flood. The high dam's poor management, not Ethiopia's dam, caused this crisis. Egyptians deserve honesty, and Ethiopia deserves respect, not endless accusations. closing message, so next time the flood waters rise, let us remember, even Egyptian experts say Ethiopia is not guilty. The problem is not Gerd. The problem is Cairo's mismanagement. Stop blaming Ethiopia for every drop of the Nile. The evidence speaks for itself. This expanded script provides a more in-depth analysis of the situation, incorporating expert opinions, infrastructure details, and regional perspectives. It should comfortably extend your video duration to over 6 minutes. You said.